to go to the ports or to go and start flogging people into line. There are institutions that have those responsibilities.
It has come to the point where even people would say if the president would do that, so be it. Because, sometimes you and I, we have breakfast sometimes on a daily basis, but there are some Nigerians that don't even have hope of having breakfast, let alone having 2 meals in a day. And if we were to put all of this without putting all of that structure in place so that at the end of the day, they'll feel good and okay. We've seen graduates as security men, graduates doing menial jobs. And even those who once upon a time would do the menial jobs, those who are graduates have taken over those menial jobs to the extent that you don't even get those people to get those jobs. So isn't it necessary for government to put things first in order before they do all of that? Otherwise, people will be asking so much in so many ways.
Well, that is why even there are things that government has already started doing. You recall there is the UWIN program for youth empowerment. About several youths across the country will benefit from a soft loan. Now, so much money is needed to jumpstart most sectors of the economy. And that money is being wasted. And that is why there is a need for savings so that we can look at areas of maternal mortality, youth employment, engagement, and those things cost money. And that is why the transformation agenda is such that it needs money to even execute. And look at the galaxy of people that make up the economic management team headed by the Minister of Finance, Ngozi Owela. This has inspired confidence and has improved our rating even internationally. And if people out of the country are appreciating what we have as a country, we need to also do much more and encourage them. This government is just 5 months old.
Could you tell us what laws has the government put in place to ensure that if the downstream sector is deregulated, things will work properly?
Well, in the first place, it's not a responsibility of only one sector of government, and that is why even the National Assembly...
I didn't say one sector of government. I said, what laws has the government put in place?
Laws?
Yeah.
The laws has to be with the National Assembly.
And they're not...
And they are already, you recall, there is a committee looking at NNPC, which started sitting last week, House of Reps. So those are several steps. No, the executive did not make law. You can initiate a law, and that is why you also have a responsibility.
Government. No, I'm not asking for the subsidy to be removed.
No, you can send a law to the National Assembly. You are. I mean, this is participatory democracy.
Okay, government has not done that yet.
No, you see, you don't isolate yourself from government. Democracy is about you and I.
No.
You have a role to play.
You are saying that government has to remove the fuel subsidy, isn't it?
No, what we are saying is for the future of our youths,
it's the same
there
thing.
is a need for government to take those hard decisions.
Okay, and I'm saying before they take that hard decisions, or while they plan to take that hard decision, what laws have they put in place? You talked about the telecom sector. What infrastructure did they put in place for the sector to even thrive? What infrastructure, now this is the second question, since this first one does not. What infrastructure have they put in place to ensure that this deregulation really thrives and not face the kind of challenges that telecoms face?
Well, let me land by giving, maybe I need to expatiate a bit on the issue of the telecoms industry. Like we mentioned, the telecoms industry paid $200 million for license. Nitel did not pay. They built infrastructure. Today we're even having free calls while Nitel has gone under. Now, if you open up the market to free enterprise, allow the forces of demand and supply to interplay, allow the customer to be rich, things will find their level. Like Fela said, water will find a level.
We know all of that, so, the forces of demand, we know that. But we're saying, what infrastructure has government put in place to ensure that this deregulation takes off properly?
That is why I'm talking about the safety nets. Safety nets have been developed.
Which ones?
No, they are in the works, like mentioned by Professor Moye, who is a member of the National Economic Team. There are programs for infant mortality. There are programs for job creation, for youth employment. There are programs for infrastructure.
That is
and
fantastic,
I also want to take you back, please, because I believe that we share a lot of doubts. And rightly so, because of what happened, what Nigerians have gone through past governments. You recall that such happened during IBB. There was a DFRI. During Abacha, there was PTF, which I think most Nigerians think they did fairly well. So it's not enough to visit what has not been done rightly on a government that is just taking off. And I believe that with the kind of people and the quality that is in this government, there is a need for Nigerians to give this government a chance.
What if Nigerians say, no, don't remove the fuel subsidy?
It's the government of the people. But what it is important is people should be able to hear both sides of the argument. Is it right for us to sit and say, okay, the people, this cartel, as far as they are concerned, they are ready.
Let me tell you what people are saying.
Hold on, back to the cartel.
We've got some comments. Well, hold on. Let me read some. Some people are already responding to what you say. You say people should listen to both sides of the argument. Well, we got this one from James. Yeah. He says government can concentrate on blocking waste, revisit revenue allocation, show transparent leadership first before you expect us to believe what you want to do.
Well, that is what government is doing. Government is taking multiple solutions as the subsidy issue is being.
How have they blocked the wastage?
No, the anti-corruption agencies are there. The National Assembly is sitting and looking at this issue closely, setting up a committee to look at it. And those are the democratic ways you look at things. Don't forget that we wanted this democracy, and there are laws that have to be followed to get things done. We cannot cross the border until somebody is found guilty. You cannot.
If you really cannot kill the snake, or you really cannot take out the devil, definitely, whatever means you use, all amounts to waste. And Niyu Sumon is asking a big and critical question this morning. He says, Mr. Dati, government is meant to assist us in unmasking the cartel. If the government is helpless, what do you expect us, the people, to do?
Well, those are some of the solutions. If the problem is that there is meat on the table and there are people fighting over the meat and the beneficiary is not getting, remove the meat. Government is saying this subsidy is being wasted.
Remove the meat and do what with it and eat the meat.
Put it to where it's supposed to be, on the dining table, where the whole family can be part of it, instead of allowing dogs and cats to take over it. And I believe there is a step of courage. Don't forget you are up against a 900 billion worth of money.
And our federal government is 4.3 trillion. You know, that's in terms of its annual budget against this 9-point-something billion monster that, you know, they have created somehow inadvertently. But you have said something that, you know, that government has no business in business. The 2008 financial crisis, I think, gives that statement the lie. And I'll tell you why. The capitalist model that a host of people follow, especially Western countries followed, in recent times, they found out that, you know, it actually, the people whom they were supposed to be ruling were suffering somehow. They suffered, they took the brunt when the financial crisis happened. And what did they do? They decided to be a bit protectionist of their own societies. What steps is our own government taking to make sure that we're not left at the mercies of the forces of demand and supply? Because at some point, if you're not able to protect critical sectors such as telecoms, such as petroleum industry, these are places that people need on a daily basis to survive. If you do not have anything in place for your own people, at some point they will turn against you, as we have seen in a host of democracies.
Well, that is why certain steps needs to be taken, and that is why leadership needs courage. A leader that wants to make a difference is not out on a popularity contest, and that is why he takes certain decisions. Mr. President promised transformation. He needs funding to get this transformation done. Labour is asking for increment in salary. Where will the money come from?
Before we begin to talk about...
It's very important that if a man has a plan, let's give him time. Let's see how it comes out to fruition.
Mr. Dati, isn't it important that people see this plan in detail first? You don't think it's important? Because all we've heard so far so good, we're going to remove subsidy, and we'll have palliative measures, we'll have social safety nets. We're not sure what the plan is. It's not clear.
Well, I think the subsidy has not been removed yet.
It hasn't.
And for us to be engaging in discussion is part of the process of trying to understand ourselves.
But you know, it would have been if the people didn't cry out.
Develop and discuss this issue so that government will really understand and look at the gauge. Public opinion.
Look at this question in connection with that. People say that they don't understand what's good because they say, why doesn't government prioritize the fixing of refineries first so that they can win the confidence of the masses before removing the subsidy?
Thank you very much for that question. For the past 18 years, more than 20 licenses have been given for private refineries. Not one has been established. Our own refineries every day are just gumping a lot of money in terms of turnaround maintenance. Why? Because it is simply not profitable to run this business because of government interference in this sector. But by the time it is removed, you find that private sectors will come in. I read an article somewhere where somebody said with just $200 billion, you can have a refinery in 9 months. Now, if you open up and deregulate, you find that people will come in because it's profitable and the prices will come down, just like what happened in the telecom sector. So it's important that when we look at things, we should also apply it to realities of our times.
Just a quick one here before you go. Tell Nigerians what exactly has been put in place now, or what is about to be put in place before we get to see this subsidy removed.
Well, like it is, this government is developing safety nets in the areas of plowing that money back to areas of infrastructure, job creation, youth employment. And also, you know that we operate a federal system. So this funding is not just going to the federal government like it was during the military era. It's also going to trickle down, according to revenue sharing formula, to the states and to the local government. So I think that by and large, it's important that at the end of the day, we'll be able to have a workforce that is well paid. We should be able to have infrastructure. And this lack of confidence